LBC's political editor Theo Ushwood has come into the studio, and this story really for Mayor Johnson and others, it won't go away. It's the Garden Bridge, and there's yet another wrangle here. Theo.
Yes, Nick, when you have a leaking roof, what do? You don't just bring up one builder and get a quote, because of course Lord Jones will know this as well. You might get ripped off, mightn't you? Just get your one quote. You will get ripped off, right? Well, of course, the sensible thing to do, as we all know, is to ring round 3 or 4 builders to get the best quote, to get the value for money, make sure you don't get ripped off. And when it comes to doling out public cash for contracts, there are strict rules in place to make sure that the Mayor, Boris Johnson, and other public figures for that matter, do exactly that by offering lots of different companies the chance to bid for a project so that he can make sure that he gets value for money. Now, in terms of the Garden Bridge, we're not talking about chicken feed here. This is serious money. The bridge is going to cost £175 million. It's going to link the Temple Station to the South Bank, and it's going to have a garden on top of it. That's the idea. And £60 million of that 175 million is public cash, although £20 million, a third of it, is going to be a loan repaid over 50 years. But the problem for Boris Johnson is that he hasn't followed the rules to the letter of the law. And the allegation in City Hall is that he favoured celebrated architect Thomas Heatherwick, the man behind the Olympic Cauldron.
And the
remember those petals and, of course, the bus?
I remember the opening petals and the new bus.
Yes, and the new bus. And he favoured him, the allegation is in City Hall, from the very start. Now, Freedom of Information responses that I've obtained reveal that on the 3rd, 4th and 5th of February 2013, Boris Johnson went on a whistle-stop trip to San Francisco, California, to meet executives at Apple, right, in the iPhone and so forth, and asked them to sponsor the Garden Bridge. And as we know from another batch of FOIs that I've received, Mr. Heatherwick was in San Francisco at the same time, and as a result, the Mayor's spokesman has just confirmed to me that he was at that meeting with Boris Johnson and Apple. Now, Boris initially claimed, Nick, that was a private trip and he didn't provide any details on his expense sheet, which he has to submit. But because it cost you and me, the taxpayer, a cool £9,000 for his trip with 2 deputies, he was forced to reveal exactly what he'd been up to. However, the real problem for Boris is that when that meeting took place, he hadn't even asked any other architects whether they'd like to come forward and
of course he's mandated
and he has to do that. Yes, he has to do that under the rules. And of course, how much they charge, whether they charge 175 million quid or whether they charge a little bit less. But it was only after a week after that fateful trip, on February the 13th, 2013, that Transport for London invited other firms to apply, crucially, to design a footbridge across the Thames. No mention in that brief of a garden bridge whatsoever. In other words, the allegation is that Boris Johnson was touting for sponsorship money with Mr. Heatherwick, claiming this is the man with a great idea. How about you throw some private cash behind it? But before he has had the chance to offer any other firm to bid for it. And that, Nick, now throws the claim in City Hall, the legality of the project, into doubt. The question is, despite £10 million of money already being spent on preparatory work, can it still go ahead? Or will we now see a legal challenge to that process that will force a new mayor to return to square one, because of course Boris is standing down, or just abandon the idea altogether? Now, I've been to Mr. Heatherwick's studios for a comment, and I was told they don't comment on private business meetings. I also went to the other architects who bid for the project, and interestingly, they said they couldn't comment because there was a confidentiality agreement on their project, even though, of course, they hadn't won the project, they'd only bid for the project. And I've been, of course, to the Mayor of London. A spokesman told me this, and I'm quoting here: the Mayor met with Apple in 2013 to discuss a number of investment opportunities in London. Thomas Heatherwick was also in California to meet a separate commitment with Apple. Given that he had already expressed an interest in creating a garden bridge, the Mayor invited him to join the meeting and outline his ideas. That meeting had no bearing on the procurement process led by Transport for London for the design of the garden bridge, which was open, fair and transparent. The garden bridge will be a spectacular new addition to London. Work on the bridge is due to begin this year, and it is widely supported by Londoners and businesses on both sides of the river. Close quotes. Now, there had also been speculation that Joanna Lumley, the absolutely fabulous actress, was at the meeting as well, because of course she's a big supporter of the garden bridge, and I can tell you that she was not at that meeting.
All right, well, this is obviously something he's going to have to answer. Theo, thank you. Theo Ushwood is LBC's political editor. Boris Johnson is here for Ask Boris in the next couple of weeks.